Hello, welcome to episode 3 of the BFS podcast. The whole thing's been a learning process, and I'm really pumped at how excited the response I've gotten from people, how excited they are in their responses. It feels good. You do something, and then people are like, oh, wow, you're doing something. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm doing something. Wow, good for me. Whew. Anyway, pretty tired, pretty sore. Been working on ramps. It's hard. Shout out to any of you guys out there that do real work, construction or anything that requires your body and your hands. You guys keep the world moving. Shout out to you. So today I wanted to talk about a not super common issue, but it's more on the business side of it. I'm going to talk a little bit about something that happened yesterday into today involving the retail side of everything. So this generally how it works. Most brands do what they call MSRP or MAP pricing, minimum advertised pricing. When the internet came along into the game, it kind of really messed things up because some people they'd go in an online store, they would do this thing called price gouging. They drop the prices, then you go online, buy it for cheap. Brick and mortar stores can't compare. Then online competitors keep dropping the price $1, $5, whatever, and then all of a sudden, it just destabilizes the whole system. So MSRP and MAP pricing really kind of keep the whole system kind of regulated so no one kind of runs away with it. So, and I think I probably spoke to some of you scooter kids about this, that the scooter industry hasn't been great with this sort of thing. Actually, one of the distros I deal with, which I will not name, they just did this really I don't think it's a super ethical thing to do, but they basically said they're doing this big sale. They dropped prices dramatically. I was like, man, look at these deals. I got to buy this stuff. And then after a couple of weeks, they're like, hey, actually, these are just the new pricing. This is the new MAP pricing. And it's pretty bad business practice to lead your customer to believe you're getting a deal and then being like, oh, it's not a deal because the deal is like, oh, it's a deal, I better buy it while the price is good, I better buy it. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, no, you just cut the pricing on all your scooters like dramatically. So now you can buy it at Walmart, you can buy it on Amazon. It's less. If I tried to price match that, I can't compete with that. So the scooter industry is a whole nother thing. We can go into that another time. I got some good stories about the scooter industry not conducting themselves very professionally. But anyway, today's about a different one. It's actually involving the local bike company Kink, which they're great in terms of BMX brands go. They really got their shit together. They got their stuff together. They've always seemed to be a little bit ahead of the curve with all the other brands. Their shipping's always been good. They get orders out fast. Really, in terms of how they distribute their product and everything in their warehouse and all that stuff, and warranty, they've always been great with that. So this story is just essentially going to point out one of the difficulties in being a smaller shop and being a brick and mortar and competing in the internet age. So right now, the Kink 2019 models are all out. They've been out for almost a year. They released their bikes in the spring. They make great bikes. They've made the best bikes in the industry. Spec versus dollar, they've been killing that since all the way back in like maybe 2011 when I was in Jersey at Planet Bike. We were selling Kink Gaps like crazy. And this story's about a Kink Gap. So I had a customer email me, and they're saying, hey, I found this Kink Gap. It might have been a Gap XL at sourcebmx.com. It's $279 free shipping. And I said, that's funny. Kink Gap is supposed to be $369. That's a pretty significant price drop. And I know the 2020 bikes aren't out yet because I I've just now been able to see the 2020 bike specs and pictures. I don't know if those are public yet. Might only be behind the scenes still. So I clicked on the link. Great, shout out to the customer for being like, hey, here's this, can you price match? Here's a link to the product. I'm not trying to pull my leg or anything. So I clicked on the link. There it is, Source BMX. King Cap, $279, $275. I was like, that can't be right, So then I went to my dealer account website, logged in, and I looked at they have a online. Let's see, I have it in front of me, so I'll just read it. The Blackout Distribution is who sells all the Kinks brands, Kink Cinema, all that stuff. So they have a Kink Blackout Distribution pricing and online sales policy. And it basically just says, what we say is the price is the price. Don't price gouge. Basically, the golden rule, don't be a dick. And it says, this rule applies to any product that is not discontinued or associated with a special promotion. Once an item is discontinued or it is on closeout, we will remove the minimum advertised pricing for those items. Upon the release of the map, when you log into your dealer portal, it will say, there's a note, it'll say, map released. Okay, and I thought, well, that's funny because the map is definitely not released on these new bikes. There's some more rules here about like dealing with Amazon and actually you're not allowed to sell Kinks on Amazon unless they approve it, and if you sell them on eBay, you can't put a make an offer or best offer thing. You just have to be, because there's always going to be people try to bend the rules to get, move that product, And then it says here, if you're found violating any of the rules more than twice, your account is closed. So I thought that was pretty funny for a seller as big as Source to be selling a bike at that cheap. So then I actually, let me go check. So I went over to the bikes, look at the bikes, and sure enough, it says map released on that model. It's like, that's weird. Did they release the map on all the models? So I looked at the other models, and they certainly did not. A lot of the bikes are out of stock because they're getting toward the model year end. So it's just that bike. So I got in the horn, called my sales rep. And I was like, so what's the deal with this? So as it turns out, they had an overstock of that particular bike and color. Maybe people just didn't like it. I don't know. So they did a special promotion. I'm not going to tell you what the promotion was, but it basically was, a nice deal. If you were a bigger seller and you could afford to buy a couple of them, you got a nice discount. And then you could, in turn, roll that discount onto your customer and move a little more products. For a shop of my size, I'm not going to go and buy. I'm lucky if I sell 3 of one model over the course of a whole year. I might sell maybe 20 bikes a year. So I'm not going to buy 3 of one bike because the line there's the carve, the kicker, the launch, the gap, the curb, the whip, the downside. There's so many models and so many colors. Like even if I sold 1 of each, I probably would just get to 20. But whatever. So what happened was I was just caught in between. Kink, obviously they want to sell all their models before the new models come in. It's kind of a weird mediary thing where you're talking about the supply and demand of the market, right? And the market dictates, but with when you have a distribution center, a retail front, and then the consumers, it kind of throws me in the middle, and then these situations happen. And in the past, I've worked for some shops where they would get really butthurt about it and call and complain and be like, whatever. But, I have appreciation for the market and how the market works. So, they do what they do, And their rules are made so they could be like, well, we removed the map pricing. You could sell it for less too, except for if I price matched that model for what the other guy was selling it for, I'd make like $45 to sell the bike or something. Which is probably still more information than I should give out about that sort of stuff. Because, not that anyone listens to this, but they could be like, Dave, you're telling the consumers things they shouldn't know. And it's like, dude, listen, you got Google. You could figure it out, okay? And take a sip of coffee here. Out of my, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see my 50/50 Skatepark coffee mug. 50/50 is a great park down in Staten Island. Just check it out if you're ever down there. Good people. Good people. We'll talk about them another time. Yeah, so just kind of get caught up in the middle there. I can only sell bikes for so much. I can only order so much. I can't, buying bikes in general is a lot of product you have to sit on the shelf. Like when you walk into the shop, oh, Dave's got 8 bikes. The skate park's got 8 bikes there, right? You got to imagine, general markup is like 40%. So the bikes cost a little bit more than half, give or take, So you look at those bikes, and if they're still sitting there, that means I'm sitting on like, $2,000 in inventory that I'm just being like, someone please buy a bike from me. Can't you see I'm in pain? Yeah. Yeah, these things always sort of happen. This is one of the things we could do with this podcast is give you a little insight to what it's like on the back half. Because kids always, they'll think I buy scooters on the Scooter Hut and then sell them to you for like the same price or like for $20 more, which is insane. Generally, in most industries, you'll see like a 30 to 60% margin across the board. So it'll be like, for the raw product to the manufactured product, from the manufactured product in China or Taiwan to the company, which would be, say it would be Kink, and then from that company to the distributor, and then from me to the consumer, and from the consumer to the whatever. So, it gets complicated. And if everyone wants a piece of the pie, it kind of makes prices go up and up and up. But then again, everyone in the market is watching each other. So, little basic economics for you there, kids. So, what I will say here is, good customer. He's just came in for the first time recently, saw the bikes, wanted to get back in the riding. He emailed me that, and obviously I want to get him on a bike. I told him I'd give him a deal. I can't do that good a deal, but I'm told I'm going to apply to him what I would normally do for a last year model bike. I think it's pretty fair. And he said, I definitely want to keep my money local, which is, everything you want to hear from a customer, that they want to support you, they want to support local, they want to ride, because riding bikes is like the greatest thing. And yeah, so hopefully he's going to come in later today. We'll get him on a bike, and it's just like a happy little fairy tale. It's an older guy too. I think he hasn't ridden in a long time. He's got to be close to 50. So I get really pumped when we get like older guys who get back into it. They always get really psyched to get on the bike, and they're like, the handlebars are so tall now, and they have the high rise stems. So it's like, wow, this doesn't feel like the worst thing ever on my lower back anymore. Although it still kind of sucks because you're still kind of hunched over, but whatever. Yeah, so there's a little tidbit for you guys. A little story, a little background. Basically all my pricing in the shop is regulated between a scale, like most brands will say. Some brands say this is the price you sell for. Some brands say this is the lowest and this is the highest. And so, some brands are like, dude, it's the Wild West. Do whatever the hell you want. Those brands kind of suck. But yeah, there you go. MAP pricing, MSRP pricing. Buy a bike. Kink, pretty good company. Good stuff. Great bikes. I don't think anyone makes better bikes than Kink. I probably sold like a couple hundred Kink bikes in my day. Yeah. They look good too. The thing with the Kink bikes is they always respect good, but they didn't really look good. Like back in the day, like the Fit bikes looked great. The Kinks respect better. Better price per dollar. Didn't look as good, but in the last maybe 4 years, like the Kink bikes they're like really killing it. Rochester really should be proud that not only to having a great skate park, they have a local bike company. It's got to be one of the largest rider-owned companies in the United States. Not like there's a lot of competition. You got Sparky's brands in Florida, S&M in California. But they're here. They're doing it. Pumped on those guys. They're not going to listen to this and know I said that, but, you You gotta be diplomatic. Yeah, so that's it for today. It is President's Day week, winter recess. Probably do want to talk a little bit about presidents at one day, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. This will be up in a couple days. Yeah, thanks for everyone that's checked it out. And same thing, we got to get a certain amount of ratings in iTunes for it to even show me as having a rating. There might be like a few people did them in the last 2 days, and it still says not enough ratings to give you an accurate rating. So if you do listen to this in iTunes, give me a rating. I mean, it'd be cool if it was 5 stars. I'd settle for 4. If it was 3, I'd be a little disappointed. If it gave me 2, I don't know. Just don't give me a 1 star. I'm not going to sleep at night if I only get a 1-star review. And I did get some comments saying some other things you'd like to talk about. Feel free to do that. If you listen to it on YouTube, shoot me a comment. We could talk about whatever you want, dude. Whatever you want. So, yeah, that'll be it for Breaking Free Speech today. We got the banner. If you're on YouTube, you'll see to my left, your right, camera left, camera right. I don't know. Got this sweet Breaking Free Speech banner. It's all crinkly, but I emailed the company. They're going to send me a new one. Customer support. Kind of in line with this whole conversation, right? So, yeah. Remember, guys, talk the talk, walk the walk, shred the gnar. You can choose which order that goes. And that'll be it for today. Check out 50/50 Skatepark.